be honest with you all, trusting in God is kind of difficult. But today, we're going to talk about how you can do that. I'm Aiden, and welcome to A Pastor's Life for Me. Proverbs 3:5-6 tells us, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make straight your paths." A verse so simple, so easy to read, yet it is so often so very hard to live out. We like our control, to have control over our lives and situations. If we could have it our way, we would control every single aspect of our lives. Things rough at your job? Not anymore, because you can control it. A family member gets cancer, it can go away because we can control it. We not being ready to die, we just go back to our younger selves because we can control it. Obviously, none of these things are true because when it comes down to it, we don't have control over many of the things that happen in our life. But God does. So what do we do then? How can we trust him when it feels like our world's falling apart? Let me tell you a little bit about my story. Being in control has been an idol in my life. One of the things that made me most uncomfortable in life is having a lack of control. For this very reason, I never got into drinking or drugs, because getting high or getting drunk is you losing control of yourself. For many, they use drugs or alcohol as a release from life. For me, having a release like that was one of the scariest things that I could go through. So I never got into those, not for good reasons, but because I idolized myself. A good example of this is when I had my appendectomy. The surgery wasn't the scary part for me. The scary part was being put under while they did it. I asked if I could forgo the anesthesia, but of course they said no. I'd rather see myself being cut open than be unconscious, because that's losing control. And to clarify, losing control wasn't me just releasing anger and blowing up. It was also me not being able to control what happens to me. Who knows what could have been done while I was unconscious. But then again, it wasn't only that. It was also the anger. I had so much rage and anger built up inside of me that I never let out. And that was for the same reason. If I blow my top and let everything out, I am losing control. Some people talk about how everyone would leave them if they let out their anger. And I felt this was true for me. I know my family would always be there for me, but with the feelings that I had, everyone else would have been pushed away. So I never let myself lose control, because control was my idol. So then we talk about trusting in God, and my idol was trusting myself, because I was the only one who I could trust to take care of me. I had to learn to trust in God and not trust in myself. It took time, and it took God putting me in difficult situations where I couldn't trust in myself, and I had to trust in him. So that's the first way to trust in God. Pray for him to put you in situations where you need to trust him. It's much harder to trust in God when things are difficult, but that is also when we truly learn to trust in him. A defining moment in my life for trusting God was when my son was born. Several months ago, my wife and I made a video about the story of my son's birth and how my son and my wife almost died. I'll put up a link for that video. In that situation, God gave me peace, and through that peace, I trusted God. And there's the second way to trust in God. Pray for peace in the midst of suffering. A lack of peace can often result from a lack of trust. If we have peace over a situation, then we trust God to do what he knows is best. And so because of these two things, going through difficult situations and being given peace through those situations, I don't struggle with control anymore. Because in the scariest moments of my life, God has taken care of me. He has given me a great gift to have peace in rough situations, and to be able to trust in Him. Sure, there are times where things are scary and difficult, but I know that He's the one who is in control. I think that is a great testimony of God working in my life, to take me from a place where I would trust no one but myself to a place where I not only do not idolize control, but willingly relinquish it. This is by no means me making this transformation in myself, but God graciously working in me to get me to a place where I don't need to trust myself, but I trust in God. So you may be wondering why I've been doing a montage of me building this. Aiden, how does this fit into the theme of trusting God? Well, that's a great question. I spoke about how I idolize myself and my control. One of these areas that I idolized in this was my physical abilities, especially in sports. I worked hard to be good in sports. I started out at the bottom, never making the teams. It took years of dedication and hard work to get to the top, to become the captain of the team. And because of this, I saw myself as better than other people. Not just in skill, but in need. The team needed me more than it needed you. And this attitude was drilled into me, as it often is in competitive sports. It took a long time to get over this attitude. And it even came out at times while I was playing soccer at Bible college. But at that point, I didn't linger on it, but cast those feelings away. I wrecked my knee 2 years ago. And since then, I haven't been able to do anything sport-wise or even running. In these 2 years, my knee went out on me 6 or 7 times, proving that my knee still wasn't healing. Now, I had surgery to fix it 2 weeks ago, and that's actually a good testimony of how I've grown to trust in God. I needed to be put under for the surgery, but this time it didn't scare me. But these 2 years of not having a properly functioning knee has really stretched me. If you've been watching my channel for some time, you'll know that I had a brain injury that affects my daily life. With a combination of these two, I had to use a cane for 6 months. I could not trust my head to keep me balanced, and I could not trust my knee to support me if I lost that balance. And now I could be angry at God and ask Him, why am I going through these things? Soccer and BMX were two of my favorite things to do, and I could not do either. I used to idolize my mind and my ability to remember everything. Now I have serious problems with my memory. In fact, I've lost probably 75% of it. And if God had put me through these 7 years ago, I would have been furious at Him. But now, I'm not angry at all. Sure, I'd love if my knee and my head were completely better and I was able to do the things that I used to be able to do. But I'm not angry or even frustrated with God. And I haven't been angry at God even when the injuries happened. I am still in His hands and He still has a good plan for me. So to answer the question, how do we trust in God, especially in the hard times of life? Just do it. Surrender. Simple words, hard to live, but it is a choice. If you are saved, you have God's Spirit in you who will help you trust in Him. I had to let go of my control and give it up to God. And as a result, I generally don't worry about tomorrow. That's God's gift to me, and it can be given to you as well. If you are in a difficult place, just let go of your control and surrender to God. We have to actively do it. He's in control and He will do what's best for you. That doesn't mean that He does everything that you want and just makes all your problems go away. We all go through times of trouble, and we can all trust in Him. It takes prayer, but it also takes a choice to trust. This cane, this whole outfit, is a reminder to me to trust in God. It reminds me of a difficult time in my life. Find something in your life that will remind you to trust too. If you think of something or you already have something that reminds you to trust in God, let me know in a comment below. I'd love to hear about it. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you too learn to trust in God better. Subscribe to the channel and give this video a like while you're at it. And why don't you check out another one? That's all for today, and so until next time, remember to know the word, do the word, and share the word. But as always, we do it in love.